this robot!
Hey everyone! In this video we'll be taking a look at Megadimension Neptunia V2 for the PS4. After so many remakes and spin-offs, it's nice to see a new Neptunia game, especially because it's for a console it's not been on before. Keeping with tradition, the name is a mouthful. It's slightly confusing since it looks like it should be pronounced Megadimension Neptunia VII, or maybe Victory 2, since it's a sequel of Victory.
V for victory!
Also, instead of hype, it's Mega. In case you're not familiar with the Neptunia series, I'll give you a quick rundown. The series is based on the idea of personifying game consoles. The main characters are Neptune, Noir, Blonde, and Vert. Neptune represents a never-released console, the Sega Neptune, Noir is the PlayStation 3, Blonde the Nintendo Wii, and Vert the Xbox 360. Lately it's changed in that they mostly just represent the brands rather than a specific console. Kind of. It's a bit vague. Each character is a goddess that rules their own country. The goddesses can transform into HDD mode if they need to kick some ass, where they become Purple Heart, Black Heart, White Heart, and Green Heart. The antagonists are different depending on the game, but you'll always find R4 in the game somewhere.
Let me explain to those in the audience new to the series. We've fought this herald boss lady character called R4 like a billion times in the older games and anime releases. She's so boring.
Big sis, maybe you should be less meta in explaining it so the players get a more immersive, believable experience.
In terms of the story, the tone in Neptunia games is usually pretty lighthearted and fun, and it's clear that the game never takes itself too seriously. There's a lot of fourth wall breaking too. Of course there's plenty of fan service, because it's that kind of game.
Where are you looking?
Megadimension Neptunia V2 takes place in 3 dimensions. The game starts out with Neptune and Nepgear being sucked into another dimension called the Zero Dimension, which is a world on the brink of destruction. There they meet Uzume, the last remaining CPU from that world, along with an older and more grown-up Neptune, and try to defeat the Dark CPU. I don't want to spoil the story, so I don't want to say too much, but I found myself enjoying the story much more than I thought. At some point in the story you can even choose between 4 different routes. You can play the other ones afterwards though, so you don't miss anything.
Now then, let us begin the story where I am the protagonist.
There are a lot of familiar faces like Compa and Iffy, but there are plenty of new ones as well.
Gold third? I don't really get how that makes sense if there are 4 of you.
Also, there's a fish.
This is Umio. What? Wait, what's this fish? That's hilarious.
Out of the new characters, I really like Uzume and the older Neptune.
Pal totally won't be able to believe it, you know?
It's funny how Uzume accidentally switches out of her tough girl persona by accident, and totally discards it after transforming.
Umio's saved, and we'll find the share crystal, and we'll be totally super lucky like that! Oh!
So, yeah, there's a small chance someone will appear to show us the way, right?
And Big Neptune has her own quirks that individualize her and make her a separate character from the original.
I seriously doubt anyone sailed up that inlet in over a millennia.
The English voice actor for Neptune is awesome, by the way. I especially like how she manages to make Big Neptune sound like regular Neptune and Purple Heart at the same time.
Just raging rush!
The voices are so different, you wouldn't think it was possible. In terms of the core gameplay, Megadimension Neptunia V2 is similar to previous games of the series, but I'm happy to report that there are some noticeable differences to previous Nep games. Recent Neptunia releases have been somewhat repetitive because of all those Rebirth remakes, so I'm glad to see that there has been some effort into making the game feel like a new experience rather than a rehash. The battle system is still turn-based. You get to move around and position your character before you attack, and the area of attack is represented by a shape in front of the character. The movement gauge may seem like a new thing, but it works exactly like the old system. You move the characters within a circle, but the circle just isn't visible in this game. The gauge just shows you how far away you are from the middle. The old combo system has been fiddled with to be a bit more complex in this game. You can select from rush, power, and standard attacks. The combos you can do are different depending which weapon you have equipped, which wasn't the case before. You can use special attacks that use your character's SP for extra firepower, but if you want to kick major ass, you'll want to use EXE attacks and the new formation skills.
Follow me. Leave it to me, Uni.
Formation skills are a really cool addition to the game because you can chain together a series of attacks depending how you pin down your opponent. Want to kick major butt? Transform into HD mode. Want to kick even more butt? Transform into next form. Next form is new to this game, and it's an additional transformation which raises stats some more. Only the original 4 goddesses can transform into next form though. I would like to see what the CPU candidates' next forms would look like, but maybe in the next game. New to this game are the giant battles. Some of the boss battles are set up this way.
My turn.
You can only use certain special attacks, and you can hop between floating islands. This is where the formation skills come in handy.
Here we go.
Good at backup.
The user interface has been somewhat changed from previous NEP games, though menu navigation is largely the same. Instead of just choosing which city or dungeon to go to, you have to follow a path instead, where random battles can happen along the way. I think it's an improvement, gives off an illusion of distance between the nations. The game isn't difficult, but it feels harder overall compared to previous NEP games. Because you can only heal when reaching a city, you'll have to use items much more. I used to just bail on a dungeon by walking at the edges where the monsters can't get you, exiting the dungeon, and then going back in with full health. Now, you either have to heal up with items, or exit the dungeon and try to get back to a safe city without getting into a random battle. I don't mind a little bump in difficulty, since the previous games were pretty easy. There is DLC available, which gives you much more powerful weapons, if you want to spend some real-world money to make things easier. In terms of graphics, you can clearly see an upgrade in Neptunia V2. The game runs mostly at 60 frames per second, though some dungeons and transformation sequences have slowdowns here and there. Since the footage you see here is in 30 frames per second, you won't be able to see the slowdowns in this video.
Transformation complete.
The dungeons are a big improvement over the old games. They feel much bigger. You can actually explore them, and they look great. A lot of the enemies will look familiar, but there are some new ones too.
It doesn't matter who you are.
If you've played Neptunia games before, you'll notice that some of the dungeons are recycled. You can tell. They just don't look that great compared to the new ones. A little detail I thought was pretty cool is how the icons show different facial expressions if the characters are hurt.
I'll go calmly.
Because there's a lot of talking in Neptunia games, it's great to see that the visual novel style cutscenes have improved. We get new backgrounds, poses, expressions, animations, and special effects. definitely makes the long conversations more fun. There's a lot of dialogue. If you're not a fan of that, beware. Not surprisingly, the amount of fan service has been upped. There are the usual fan service-y illustrations, but we also get some 3D jiggle that wasn't as prevalent in the older games. Also, the camera now likes to pan over specific regions of the female anatomy during special attacks and after battle cutscenes, more so than before. Definitely counts as a graphical improvement to me. Where older NEP games fell behind a little was the sound department, I think. The effects didn't sound that great, and a lot of the music and sound effects were reused over and over and over and over. Thankfully, a lot of the menu and battle effects have been redone, and there's plenty of new music, which is excellent. Even navigating through the menus feels better because of these improvements. Speaking of sound, you can choose Jap voiceovers instead of English, but only after you've downloaded them from the PlayStation Network as a DLC. I found that a little strange. According to the package, the game is 8 GB in size, so it's not like it wouldn't have fit on a Blu-ray disc. I like both the English and Japanese dubs, but generally I keep it on English, since I think they've done a great job. Overall, I enjoyed Megadimension Neptunia V2 a lot. In terms of gameplay, it might not be the best game ever, but the combination of silly characters, lighthearted storytelling, and fan service can't help but leave a smile on my face. That's the most important thing to me. There are other gameplay elements like disc dev, item development, Neplunker, and investments that I haven't talked about, but those things are mainly optional and aren't the main parts of the game anyway. If you like previous Neptunia games, you'll likely like Neptunia V2. Especially if you felt that the previous games felt too repetitive. I did an unboxing of the limited edition of the game, so check that out if you're interested. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.